Alright, what is up guys, N84 here and welcome back to another movie review, and today we're going to be talking about a very underrated and a very underappreciated film. We're going to be talking about Terrifier 2. Okay, this is a sequel, and if you haven't seen the first one, I would very much recommend that you watch it because they're both very, very good. But is this movie perfect? Let's talk about it, man. We're going to be talking about the good, the bad, the highs, the lows, the pros, the cons, things I like, things I didn't like. But yeah, we're going to have a pretty good deep dive into this one because this one's a very interesting watch. But yeah, let's get into it. Honestly, just knowing that this movie had a very limited budget and that it was only shown in select theaters, that makes me appreciate this movie even more because technically, I don't know. Technically, they're short films in a sense. I mean, this movie wasn't short at all. This movie was almost 2.5 hours. So technically not short films, but the budget, you would think it's a short film if you saw the budget. So that makes me appreciate these movies even more, man. Just knowing like how much hard work they had to put into it, and it shows. Okay, this movie pushes the R rating to the fullest. Okay, and it's honestly unacceptable just how underrated Art the Clown is, because a lot of the scary movies that they put out now, they're not really scary, man. Like, Nope wasn't really scary at all. Smile, not as much. The Halloween films, not really scary. But this guy is very scary, very unsettling. I wouldn't want to be left alone in a room with this guy. It's if you're not a fan of blood and guts and gore and things like that, do not watch this movie. Or the first one. Okay, I thought the first one set the bar for how far they could go. This movie ups that, okay? They don't hold back. And that's amazing, okay? I don't know who these sick people are who's making these movies, who's just planning out these death scenes and things like that, but they need psychological help because the things in this movie are just wow. Like, legit, this might just be the most gruesome, gory, and most disgusting movie I have ever seen in my entire life. And I mean that in the best way possible. Okay, this movie, it doesn't hold back. Alright, like I said, I thought the first one raised the bar. I thought the first one was the limit. That's how far they could go. This one tops that, okay? I would not eat food while watching this movie because the kills are just so graphic. So disgusting. He doesn't kill you with just like a typical throat slit or stab. He's going to torture you and he's going to have fun with it. He's going to just peel off your body parts, and it's just a lot. So it's so bad that like I'm sure people can't even show those clips on YouTube here. Okay, like that's how bad it is. The kills, they're very creative though. I will give them that. And like I said, man, if you're not a fan of seeing people, just being tortured, just, all those things, kind of like the Jigsaw movies in a sense, or like their death traps, they're just being like tortured until they die. It's kind of like that. So if you're not into that, you really will not like this movie, okay? But if you're into something that's scary, has some personality to it, I would highly recommend this movie, man. I'd say it's for a specific crowd. Okay, it's not for everyone. Alright, I will say that it's not for everyone, but a lot of scary movies don't scare me nowadays, but this one is definitely the one. This one leaves you unsettled. It makes you, kind of cringe a bit, like, if you can watch this movie and not fidget and, be like, ooh, or like tilt your head away a little bit, I will pay you myself. I will come out of my pocket and pay you myself. If you can watch this movie without having any type of emotion or anything, I will pay you. Legit. But in my eyes, I do think that this one is a worthy sequel. The first one was a damn near perfect movie, man. And this one, it carries the torch. It knew the first one was a huge hit amongst fans. Everyone loved it. So it knew it had to continue it. And with this one, you get more Art the Clown, more personality, more deaths, more of a runtime. So that's how you do a sequel justice. Honestly, they did the right thing with it. And a huge shout out to all the actors and actresses in this movie. they all acted. Okay, let me just say that they all did their job. They sold it really well. So huge shout out to everyone who participated in this movie. I don't know how long ago this movie was shot. From what I saw, it's filmed like a few years ago, if I'm not mistaken. So I know they've been waiting to put this one out. So huge shout out to everyone who worked on the movie. Like I said, limited budget, limited amount of theaters that they can show this in. So a lot of praise goes out to the cast and crew of this film. A lot of the prosthetic work and the makeup is very, very good, man. It looks really good. So honestly, it's pretty much just a well-made movie, man. If you like horror, if you like blood, guts, all that stuff, you like seeing people get killed, I might be a freak, okay? Because I actually saw this movie opening night with my cousin, and I was sitting there laughing and stuff when some of the people were getting like killed and stuff. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm just weird. Maybe I'm a freak. Maybe I should go seek help. Maybe. But a lot of stuff happened in this movie, and as my cousin would say, this is some sick shit for real. You do get returning characters, and you get some brand new characters. Typically in horror movies, the cast, at least like what's the word I'm looking for? The main cast of characters, the protagonists that we're following. Usually they're not great in horror movies, but I found them to be actually alright in this movie. They weren't like absolutely lovable characters or anything like that, but I enjoyed most of them for the most part, with the exception of like one character. But I'm not gonna say who it is because I don't want anyone saying I'm bullying or anything like that, so I'm gonna keep my personal opinion to myself. But yeah, this movie definitely has some up and coming stars who I think will be really, really big in the future. It's just a shame that this movie, just this character, Art the Clown, is so underrated, and he's already grown such a cult following. Like a lot of people are already saying, like he's up there in the ranks with Freddy, Jason, and Michael Myers, all these characters, Chucky. So he's definitely made an impression just for being in the game for only a few years. Like that's very, very impressive. But ladies and gentlemen, we have talked about the good things, and I praise this movie a lot, but it's not perfect, unfortunately. I did see, at least by the time this is being recorded, it had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Everyone's praising the film. It's a really good movie, man. I'd say watch both of them if you could. But like I said, it's not perfect. It just missed the mark by a bit. And if it wasn't for this problem, I'd say this movie was a 10 out of 10. But unfortunately, it's actually two things that knock it down for me. But it's just my opinion. The third act was kind of messy. The third act was kind of messy, man. This movie is long. It feels very long. And that's because it is. The official runtime for this movie is almost 2.5 hours. Much longer than the first movie. And the movie just really felt like it was dragging on for a while. And maybe it was going for this whole like bait and switch kind of thing where it's like, okay, it's over. Not just yet, it's over now. Okay, it's not over yet, but it's almost there. Okay, we got you. You thought we were finished, but we're almost there. It got really stale really fast. It just felt like they were just running the runtime on and on and on. And it felt kind of exhausting, at least in my eyes. I'm just like, okay, movie, I'm ready to get out of here, okay? I've had a good time with you, but you're kind of overstaying your welcome just a little bit. So that's just my opinion. And another thing about this movie that I didn't like was I didn't like the supernatural aspects towards the end, man, where like the main character, what was her name, Abby, she kind of just turns into Wonder Woman. I didn't like that too much. The first one was very realistic, very real. This one was as well for the most part. It started to dive into that whole paranormal type thing, spirit, I don't know. It just wasn't for me. But like I said, the third act was just a little shaky, but it's still a pretty good movie, man. If I had to rank it, I give it a 9 out of 10. I would recommend that you check it out, man. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, you know what to do. But I'm NA4 and I am out. Peace.